Well, all right, it is 6:31. Let's call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Everybody had opportunity to review the minutes of
Yes.
last month's meeting.
Yes.
And if you have,
Yep.
do we have any changes, adjustments? Motion to approve.
I make a move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion carries. A new business, or do we want to address the audience at all? We normally don't have an audience, so get you guys in and out of here.
Yeah. You want to stand up, state your name, and if you have any questions or anything?
Okay. Just want to be here tonight, huh?
Welcome.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Good deal.
Is that it? Why are they here?
Mike Nielsen's class. Have to come to a meeting to extra credit or credit? Credit.
Excellent.
That's why I'm here, too.
Industrious kid.
The
About to
summer.
blow your mind.
I'm a little old for Mr. Nielsen's class, but I'll be there.
You pass it, you wouldn't have to go again. Okay. Marshall, we have done just the consideration minutes, which is carried, so starting.
Sorry, Mike.
New business, internet.
Okay, so the town has had a few hiccups in their internet process. We're switching over to a new server. We have a 2003 server, and that's really old. They don't even service it anymore. So we purchased equipment, and they're installing it. But in that phase, we had some ports fail, and you find out your importance to have internet when the ports fail, because we don't have cash registers at the pool when the ports fail. So we went back to the old handwritten version there for a little bit. Couldn't take any credit cards. So I don't ever want to be in that. You know, that costs us money now. So I just went ahead and purchased a Wi-Fi hotspot so that whenever we do fall apart, we can just pull it out of the safe, hook it in, connect both cash registers, and it's seamless. So we don't ever. I figure we lost about $300 just by being down for 2 hours. It happened twice, but I had the Wi-Fi the second time. So we did good, but just kind of learning the new, being completely cloud oriented, we got to have that plan B, and we'll probably have to buy a second one for the DAC too, because it's going to have that same issue. If it goes down, we're still operational all the time, so we need to have that backup because we're going to lose dollars in the long run. Plus, it's only like $40 a month, so.
But there is a charge for that?
Yeah, it's $40 a month, but it's great too if we ever do like registrations in the park or maybe for the half marathon, we could
No
take
matter where you are,
registrations
you
right
could-
there.
you'll
Yeah,
get
we can take it with us anywhere. If we have meetings somewhere or we're at conference, we can be able to pull it up. Most of the time, people have Wi-Fi.
As long as you have Wi-Fi or as long as you have telephone
It's its
service?
own, pretty much like cell phone hotspot. It's
Okay,
like that.
okay.
Cheaper than a cell
Winterland.
Huh?
Winterland, if something.
Yeah,
happens.
Winterland, we could use it down at Winterland, and so really, I think it's gonna pay for itself probably. It's already paid for itself at least $300, so half the year is paid for. It saving us money.
So we use that full-time or we use the internet and just use that if the internet?
It's only a secondary. It'll be kept in the safe so no one can manipulate, because we have a certain amount of data on it too. So I'll just keep it in the safe, and then it's whenever there's there, pull it in. It just plugs in the wall. It's got battery option too, but since it's going to be kept in the safe, it's got 2 ports, so work 2 computers.
Further discussion? Okay. Moving on. Camera.
So cameras, I know this is a big topic in our last meeting, and I just wanted to let you know that we're still moving forward. I think I have a meeting either the last week in July or the first week in August with the CAD designer who's going to do the layout for the town, for where the cameras will be, what they'll focus on, certain kinds. So we're moving forward on it. We're hoping to have it together before we do the host budget planning. which I don't know, it's not scheduled right now, but for next year. So sometime in the fall, I hope to have this completely done. I'm hoping to have it done. And hoping that implementation would start Jan 1.
How many do you think you'll want?
There's a lot, because the town kind of put together, all the department heads put together their grandioso. I'm sure that'll be scaled back once we get the dollar amount with it, but it'll probably be more of the town may, depending on what the council wants to do, they may supply the brain, and then we supply the cameras, which is not a bad deal, because the brain's really the town should take care of that umbrella cost, because then the police will be able to get into all of the cameras when we're all working together. Instead, right now, we all have our own little systems, and half of them don't work, and ours is like blurry and outdated now. To all be on the same system and get some rotation and have the same camera, all working on the same monitoring software, should make everything a lot more seamless.
But even if I wasn't connected with the park, I could think, oh, we should have a camera here, camera there. But then when you think of the park, I can think of a million places.
Yeah,
where
no,
you should have
that's
a
the
camera.
hard part. Usually, like for us, it's more of monitoring more than anything.
Yeah.
So you want to monitor your entrances, your exits. I mean, those are number one, because you want to get the lights, camera on there. You want to have just oversight of things, and then a couple. You can track them that way, and then if you have a couple of those face ones, if you have face ones right before they enter the bathroom, that almost everybody uses a restroom. Probably going to get 3/4 of your people. Not in the bathrooms.
I didn't say a word.
Maybe one, as you're coming in and out of the, of course, there's more than one entrance into the pickleball court. Since you've had some
Yeah.
issues there.
Yeah, and we'll
Having
have
one
them
there.
on our main features, and especially our newer features, the Winterland building.
Scary.
I want to write on their Christmas decorations, because I think nobody would break into it if they knew it was just
Well,
Christmas
what do they think
decorations.
that's in there? Why are they wanting to break in? Or are they just
It's
vandals?
just it's
Is
a
it just
hidden
vandals?
spot.
There.
Yeah, so we put security lights up there, like really bright
Yeah.
security lights, and I think that's kind of helped.
No. Well, and
Shelter, we're having problems with that.
Yeah, shelter 1, shelter 2 right now are my hotspots, and they're the hardest ones to get internet to, or fiber
Of
or
course.
anything, because I don't have any connections close to it. The closest thing I have are Jimmy's wellhead. And he is running fiber, he has fiber to him, but he's only got a couple that have cabinets to where I link onto it. Grab that signal and be able to. The one by Playscape we'll be able to get. The one in North Park we'll be able to get. Hard one will be Shelter 1. I think maybe we just pony up and buy
That's an
bore
entrance
under
to
the
trail entrance.
bore under this creek, or
Oh,
go
hardwire
over
it?
the creek, yeah, and do some sort of cabling.
Poor
There's power
Shelter
line that
One,
goes
I
over
just feel
there.
like it's just always the victim.
It is. It's
We need
it gets
a
abused.
man in uniform with a repeating rifle on a tower, you know, walking guard at poor shelter.
I would think that down towards the end, by the water building,
Yeah.
you could come up over,
Yeah. We could
and it
probably
wouldn't
put
be
in-
intrusive.
Well, and I was thinking we could put in a telephone pole on both sides.
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
you could do
saying.
Outdoor cable, and we could just run
Right.
outdoor cable, maybe shoot 2 lines over there. We
That's
have
what
one
I would
Nobody
in
would
it,
even notice
one
it.
on
No,
top
I don't
of it.
think so
It'd
either.
be in the trees.
Yeah.
Something that we need to talk about, you and I've talked about it before, but now it's kind of a different issue, but we talked about the ownership of the Winterland displays and who has them on the insurance. And, of course, Rich Jensen, we know, passed away,
Yeah.
was
we-
agent for both of us.
When we sent him information like whose is it, I don't think he
His
ever responded.
well, he did respond to me, and his recommendation was, it needs to be one or the other,
Yeah.
and it's
All
probably
in.
better under the town than it is the chamber.
Yeah. Well, we're storing them on our property.
That's kind of what I'm
What will
thinking.
happen there? Will Carson just carry on with the?
Well, let's don't talk about
Yeah, I don't know.
Why not? We know where we're gonna have our.
Well, how it affects us is appropriate. It just, I think the accounts will be taken over by someone else.
I hope the best for Carson.
Yeah.
I just.
I
I'd like to
think-
keep it there if he's gonna keep running.
I think
Whatever
it's,
it is, we just need to get in contact
Right.
with them.
Yeah, make
Make sure
Right.
everybody
Yeah,
understands.
we definitely need to have those
I
covered.
mean, insurance isn't gonna lapse for anybody. We're just gonna probably go under, I think the town will probably have to designate a new agent of record, and so. Yeah, it's a sad situation, but we just need to make sure
Yeah,
that,
maybe that's
it's just
something-
coincidence that this came up at the same time, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
right, he and I talked about it maybe 2 months ago.
So maybe before the season starts.
Yeah.
At our next meeting, we'll just team up and make sure we get it on there, make sure
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows.
Have we ever had an insurance claim?
Not to my knowledge.
No, we've had some stolen,
That
but
tree was pretty
it's like
expensive.
the value of the little ones.
But do you even file on something
Yeah,
like that?
no, because the value of the little
Yeah.
ones, the depreciation's like worse than a car. You know, it's like once you get it, it's pretty much has like no value.
Well, the
Unless you can sell it
tree
to someone
and
else.
everything we've bought since I've been there. Other than that, I don't even know that we can go back and
I've got a
demonstrate
lot of values.
How much it costs.
how much the
Value
cost
it is,
was.
yeah.
I had Brad before he left. I had him that last year go through with me, and I have an inventory of what we have and the estimated value. Some of them are estimated; they're actually from Sandy's. Sandy's notes way back in the day, and so I have a lot of those. But most of them are the big ones because when we first purchased everything, we actually purchased it from a company that did it for us for I think 2 years.
That was
They were like,
before
"Yeah,
me.
we're going to bring you new stuff every year," and they came back the second year, and our staff had just kind of thrown everything in the trailer. It was the same trailer with the same stuff, and all of it was all over the place. So, and I think they negotiated a deal to buy the guy out.
I think before depreciation, what shows on our books is like 145,000. But that's been depreciated down. And since we've been buying, and we've been splitting the cost, all that's been going on my balance sheet is my half. So technically, we're not even,
Yeah.
it's just in that gray area where it depends on who the invoice is. I think the invoice for the tree was in the chamber, but everything since then's been in the park, so.
And when we do our capital assets, I put that building and the contents in there as maybe we're even
Double
duplicating
insurance.
the
Yeah.
insurance, which is a good
That's a
possibility.
good thing, isn't it?
Well,
Unless you're paying for it.
Yes.
yeah, we're paying for it.
We're both
and
paying
it's-
for it.
And it's with the same company, so they're not gonna pay on it twice.
Yeah.
Well, you're covered.
But we're covered.
Every year we do an assets thing,
But-
so I'll just make sure that when we do ours again, that it's on ours.
And see, we say we're covered. When Rich and I talked, he didn't think we had near enough coverage.
Oh, really?
I think we've got, just in the stuff that Marcia and I have purchased since being here, I think it's over what?
Oh, yeah.
We just spent 65 or 66. The tree was 33. We bought some like miscellaneous stuff in there and a couple smaller,
Those-
like 20 and a 40. So I mean, you're
Wow.
200 just in us being there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And keep in mind that what I have, depreciation value, replacement value is a whole lot different. I mean, just what he's talked about, the little bit that we've bought in the last 8 years.
And we've remodeled them too, so
Yeah,
depreciation,
got a lot of value in
I know
them.
that they're really depreciating because every like 5 years they get remodeled by us, like brand new.
Is it some sort of formula to depreciate stuff like that? Do you
I
just,
think it's
do you
just
just
normal.
report?
Well,
what it
I
is?
think it's just the standard
Every year it depreciates by a certain
accounting rules,
percent?
yeah.
Well, regardless, with what's going on with insurance, it's a good time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to make sure it's
Questions,
on
sure,
ours or
everybody's
theirs.
here. Yep, so.
But what made me think of it is you saying somebody wanting to try to get in there.
Yeah.
You know, we could have a pretty serious loss if somebody gets in and
Destroys.
destroys them all, or they pop up in another town somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Pittsburgh, what are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
it's-
Somebody's farm. That looks familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
It sucks, but
You
did
bought
see
the
that?
same
Did you
tree?
see Smith's
Weird.
house?
Farmer Joe had it.
He's got a great display this year.
I think Will could go out and spot them in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Green in my head.
They just changed the color of the light bulb.
We dream them.
Any further discussion? questions on the camera?
Sorry, I got us
Great
off track.
idea.
That's all right. Okay. Next,
That's
tennis
why you don't
courts.
like me to come to these meetings.
So the tennis courts, we just finished the sidewalk today, so the west side will be back in action. We're putting a bench in there. One of the pickleballers was pretty vocal, also donated some money towards the pickleball court, so
Oh,
we're
cool.
honoring them with a bench. So there'll be a bench, and then I have a spot for a second bench, but I'm just gonna put a trash can there now till somebody that will jump in on that. But I mean, I don't know if you've been by there; it's packed all the time.
Packed all the time.
We got-
Volleyball, I saw volleyball the other day.
Did you? Awesome. We've had a
Danny
couple
has said
volleyball.
he's seen it too a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't appear to be any organized games, it's just people going in and
It's like
hitting
a
the ball
family.
around.
Rec,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's probably Danny's second home besides the golf course.
Oh, absolutely. More so than the golf course. Golf has taken a back seat to his pickle. Now, the reason why is pickle's free.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Yeah.
So we got all the electricals in and functioning, but we're having some issues with the coin operation of it. So it's not taking the second quarters, anything beyond the second quarter. So we're gonna work tomorrow and try to do some fine tune adjustments, but you gotta kinda, when you put in the second quarter, you gotta do the old, whap it one time and then it goes down. So I taught the pickleballers that today, and hopefully they'll be good to go and we don't get any lawsuits for them bashing their hands. But it does work, it's just a little fidgety. It's a little electrical company called the company. You just gotta do some. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have it functioning in the right way.
But does the electrical company take care of collecting the coins?
No,
There'll
we're
be
gonna have it
deal
on a
with that.
routine once a week, go in there and just clean the coins out. It's not gonna be a big revenue
Yeah, I was gonna
generator
say,
at
is
all,
it worth-
but it could pay for light bulbs.
Oh, I think it will.
And
I
if it
mean,
pays for light bulbs, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because those things are expensive. They're like
with the
$45.
weather we've had, they want to play at night.
Yeah.
They don't want to play in the daytime. They want to
They'll
wait
get
till
in
they
the
can turn
fall,
those.
too, I think.
Yeah, I think so
They'll
too.
Actually,
I do
maybe
too.
use those in the morning even.
I'm telling you, it's a sickness. A healthy sickness.
I was just gonna say, a
healthy
healthy sickness.
sickness.
It's good for you.
All I got.
Discussion, questions on tennis courts? Pickleball courts, whatever we want to call them. Volleyball courts.
We're getting a lot of play across the whole county for
Yeah.
those. So it's been a good investment, I think.
Move on.
I'll
Aquatics.
say real quick on that, just that comment, and that's probably a good place to display it, everything that's going on with the parks.
Oh, yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
getting so much traffic
The
down there.
location.
I don't know if we have one of those glass things that,
Yep, there's a glass one. We have a little mini marquees is what we call them. It also shows all the rentals.
Like an information center or something.
Yep.
yeah.
It has like the rules too.
Dennis Pierce.
I am, yeah.
All right, moving on to the aquatic center.
Okay, so operation's been pretty good. We've had a lot of breakdowns this year, so the budget's really tight, like really, really tight. I probably only have like $1,500 left to get me through. I buy chemicals in bulk though, so it's like almost kind of minus chemicals. So I usually try to get the winter sale, so I get a deal on them. Try to buy them for the whole year. So, barring any pump breakdowns or probes or anything like that with the bottom part of the pool, I think we'll be good. Concessions is going to run tight too. Just things are more expensive. But, you know, the good part about that, the more things you buy, then usually it's the more things you're selling, so that means you're probably bringing in more money. And I will have numbers really close, so we'll be, actually I will have, hopefully have numbers for you next meeting, like end of the year, because I think the meeting's
August,
Seventh, maybe?
Yeah, it's on the 7th, so I should have rec desk numbers for you, but I won't have like the final end because we'll still have like the pay period and stuff in there. It's because I like to put all the employee stuff in there too, so we know what we paid staff, what we paid all those pieces. We can kind of look at the year at a whole. Feels like it's pretty good.
It'll be on the 14th.
14.
7th is actually the first Tuesday.
Okay, so I will have everything, and they'll be probably confirmed numbers by then. Usually it takes me about 3 days after to compile all this stuff.
Shut her down.
what's the-
We shut 7th is the last day, and then the 8th,
7th of September.
August.
August.
So it's usually when school starts.
We've tried it both ways.
Yeah, we
Trust
tried
me,
it weekends, we tried just staying open.
I made Brad so angry at me, you can't ever imagine, because I kept saying, why are we, it's 100 degrees out and the pool's dry. And we tried it and we lost money.
Yeah, I think it even rained.
But I
both
feel like
People,
you
even
had
if
to
you have a
try-
good weekend, you
It's-
still have burning chemicals.
It's $600 to $800 a
And
day
kids
just
are
to
back at school,
operate
They don't,
without
come in
staff.
the evening.
600 to 800 a day.
You got just in the chemicals you have. That's if it's not super sunny.
Oh, really?
More sun, it eats up more chlorine,
Really?
and it's like $100 and some a bucket. Pretty much a bucket a day. Occasionally a bucket and a half or two.
I know, right?
And David, nobody came.
I know, it was,
That was the thing, is we kept it open for all these people that begged because we want to keep the pool open. We kept it open.
No, I'm not, I think I think
It's
you're
just
doing the right
It's
thing.
counterintuitive by now.
I'm depressed. We should go to, school shouldn't start till Labor Day.
yeah, I know.
I totally agree.
I mean, that's how it was when I was a kid.
When I was
Yeah.
a kid,
Back in my day.
you watched
Memorial
Jerry
Day.
Lewis all night, run a marathon.
Memorial
right?
Day to
And
Labor
then you went
Day.
to school. Yeah.
Now, we didn't have a lot of breaks during the year, all the other breaks you guys get, but it was Memorial Day.
And we had to light candles to read, but that's different.
That's
You
depressing.
guys are starting too soon. Because you're no smarter than we are. Hello? See? Look at him.
Stop there.
Anything else on the Aquatic Center report? Well,
The only thing, it's not really on the aquatic center, but I have a couple other things that, to add to new business, if you're okay with it.
okay, I got just a quick question
Go
on the,
ahead.
I guess the Aquatic Center brain. We talked about the whole diving board view and all that. Is it the one we have now still holding up, or do we still need to have to get a new one at some point in time? We need to put on our
It's a piece of
bucket
junk.
list. Yeah.
We pretty much have to, we have to sandblast it, re-weld fittings on it and stuff, and it's just not made for public use. I mean, it would be great at a place where you don't have quite an array of people using it. I think it makes it, it just puts you in a lot of tough spaces. It should be made for, all audiences to use, but it's not. I think the future is we either need to replace it with some other feature that's low maintenance. Actually, I think that's the future. I hate to take away the diving board, but at the same time, I think just the amount of abuse, I don't think we're going to win. We're going to be buying.
And of all the features you could replace it with, do you think people would miss it?
I think some because of the heritage of the old pool. So
And
that,
that was
that
the
was
only
the only
feature.
reason I thought about maybe going with a little bit
I
more of
didn't
a
know that,
platform
Yeah, I was
instead.
gonna say, what's wrong
Instead of a
with the platform?
springboard, switching to the platform, it's a lot more money, but it's probably going to last you 4 times as long because there's no moving parts.
Yeah.
I think we ought to think seriously about a platform before we just discontinue.
Well, we talked about, I looked into a climbing wall as an option too, because it's fairly low maintenance. It's kind of a cool feature. It's something different. It's a little bit more modern. You could take it down if you wanted to. You could, which kind of is nice.
It's not a permanent thing.
Well, it's like semi-permanent. You could put it up, like you could have it up on Fridays. You could keep it all season. It's really up to you. You can add to it, make it taller. We also looked at some smaller slides so that there wouldn't be the 48-inch rule, which seems to be dramatic for some. And so, I don't know, there's just a lot of options we can look at. And maybe it's something where we just do a public survey. When we get to that point, we're just like, hey, you can have a rock climbing wall, you can have a slide, you can have a platform diving board. Go. Just let them vote. And then we have the data there to be like, hey, look, what's this? Put it in their hands. Because I think all of them would be cool.
At the Carmel Aquatic Center, you have to go to get into the Carmel Aquatic Center specifically for their rock wall and their deep area and their surfing simulator that they have. But when I took my Brownsburg kids there the past couple summers, the rock wall was like the thing that
Because it's so
It's really
different.
cool.
Yeah. And
I
it
never even
doesn't
heard of
cost
that.
$1 million like the
Can
surfing
you jump
thing
off
does.
the rock wall like a diving board?
they have.
Yeah.
You can climb up to the top
Um,
and then you just fall back.
Yeah, and just fall in the water. I think I even priced it out. I'm pretty sure I did, and it was. I want to say it was cheaper than the diving board, too. And then all you have to do is put a couple anchors in to anchor the unit. I don't know, it's something to think about. We also thought about maybe just adding it, don't going so high, because we can put it on the transition area and just do 2 or 3 heights, and then you could still do the platform because there's enough
that's
space
cool.
in there, and then you're adding a new feature which we don't have. The only bad thing is so it's see-through, but it's like blue see-through or clear, but it still kind of adds an element of blocking.
For the
in
guards to
there.
watch.
Not really the guards as much as it is parents.
Oh.
But, well, I mean, we could arrange a scene. Next year, we'll actually be securing all the lounge chairs to the fence. Something I've wanted to do for a long time to keep their longevity. And we may even dive into the renting, where you could pay for the day, you pay $10, and that's your lounge. Our goal is to try to look at more ways to earn revenue inside the facility while it's already on.
You
'Cause we could
allow
do-
people to bring lawn chairs in with them now?
Yes.
What about umbrellas?
You mean,
Renting?
Bring 'em in, like,
That's a good idea, too.
you could rent umbrellas?
Like
Can
you do at the
Can they
beach.
bring umbrellas in? Yeah.
yeah.
They-
Well,
Are
there
you
already
saying
are
like-
some, right?
Yeah, we have
And that'd be
umbrellas.
premier seating or.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could put them under the umbrellas and those could be premium. And then also we talked about the 2 side.
Oh,
And
that would be cool.
we're just looking at more ways where we can increase the dollars, but also increase the options for, because some people don't want to pay $300 to rent out the whole pool for a birthday party when they have 10 kids. You know, it's like, why not pay $100 and maybe we team up with Kroger and they get a cake out of the deal. And inside, we can have both going at one time. There's an extra $200 a day. You can split up the day to have multiple birthday parties.
That's a great idea.
I don't know, I think it is,
And the
too.
whole goal is really because we need to fix things. It's not that we're trying to make all this money for, you know, anything. No one's
It's
getting rich.
expensive, everything
Well,
you
that's
do
why I brought
down
up the
there.
diving board, because I
Yeah.
knew that was a big cost item that we kind of
maybe,
tabled.
maybe we use that spot as a rotation of things. And every couple of years, we put something new in. Because that would be great to kind of keep us
Fresh and-
spinning and fresh and that kind of thing. We also looked at the splash pad. Like, if you go to a splash pad nowadays, it's got all these fancy things, and ours is just like, you know, just it's like a hose with a hole in it, pretty much. So we were looking at, well, maybe we could exchange some of those out and do like the bucket droppers and just little things that we already, you know, we're not changing anything. It's just a new feature that we bolt into the same spot, you know, and then it dumps things on kids because they like the interactive stuff. And like, I've been to the Brownsburg one with my kids. They love the big bucket thing.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where it like hesitates and then all of a sudden it'll shoot out stuff. And then they also have the interactive button, which we had that at one time, but when we went with the lowest bid, we got the lowest bid. And all the features were just junk. So we ended up having to straight pipe some of them and kind of bypass the solenoids. But we kept all that stuff so we can bring some of that back in, but we're going to have to spend a little bit of money and pay for metal things instead of But good to bring that up because we can look at that in that remodel too.
On to old business, amphitheater.
I still had a couple of things I wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's
Is that
right,
okay?
sorry. I delayed you.
It's all right. So, I had some random calls in the past couple weeks. One is Rick Battershell. He's moving, and his
moving.
property is pretty much a
Right
primo spot in the park, kind of like on the corner where North Park meets the trail to Blanton Woods. So, and me and Ken had talked to him when we were in there for something else.
Look at conceptual drawings lines
For the Little
Macon
League.
Park.
Yeah. And he had mentioned it, and we were like, hey, let's look at it. So today I went on tour of it. Got some potential, I'd say. It's more open than I thought it would be.
Where exactly
It's
is it?
definitely, it's a little dated.
It's like across the
Sure.
house when you
Makes
come
it
down
what?
the hill.
He said
It's across the
250,
street.
but I don't think it will appraise for 250 because of it's not
How much
inside.
land is on?
modern.
Is it
It's like
sitting
I think it's an acre, like right at an acre. It goes all the way back to the creek.
Floats
He's-
back there.
Yeah, he's got a 2.5 garage right there, and then the house. And the house has 3 bedrooms, and then the downstairs is actually pretty open. It like and the kitchen's really old. Dining room, but they connect together, which is good, and then it spins around into the living room, and the living room looks like a premium area where you could have like a conference room or something like that. The only thing I could think about using it for would be just because there's no room big enough to really rent, and it's kind of like the Blanton house, it's like
Parking.
and it's not really.
Well, I guess you could park right across the street.
Yeah, and walk over. It's not really nostalgic either, so it's like doesn't have that draw of the nostalgia. So, it's up to you guys. I could see it for that, but I just $250,000. Would I rather spend on cool stuff that the public could use? Yes. So I don't know.
I always vote for adjacent land. What would you do with the yard? Would it play into the park at all? Would that acre really be a key, or does it just increase our size?
If the house wasn't there, it would
It's
be
all
great.
pretty wooded, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't
all-
even feel like you're close to the park at all when you're
Do you
there.
know
I was
where it is,
super
Tracy?
surprised.
Isn't it across the street from
From the
intersection?
trailhead.
Where that
Right on
little-
that corner.
Where that bridge goes over and
Yeah, it's
You know where
the
Rotary
south
Pavilion
property.
is?
Mhm.
Just right across the
right
street.
across
from
the
it.
street.
Like,
And it's
Yeah.
not like
They've all been for sale like in the past
Yeah.
20 years.
the one on
We
the
went and looked
complete
at it.
opposite side
Yeah.
considered.
How much was that?
I think that one sold for. We actually were gonna bid on it.
Because it was auction.
Yeah, but
That
it
one was
ended
up
up
there.
going for like I wanted to say 170.
it was under 200.
Well, yeah, but it
It
had some
was-
foundation
It
issues.
was a serious one.
Yeah,
How old is this?
we would probably
talked
buy
about
it for
demo. This
house
parking
is-
lot.
I remember when he built this house.
Yeah, 94 is what
Yeah.
he said. And it is really cool on the inside. It's like modern layout with a 1994.
But truly,
Interior.
Bowder Shells lived there the whole time.
Yeah.
One owner.
He designed it.
I didn't know it had a garage. Does it show
He
from
just
here?
built a
Not
garage.
too long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Used to just have like a little breeze.
Yep, there's a
Well,
little
that's
breeze
what I
right
thought.
there.
That's what all I thought I had.
And then it kind of,
Looked
one
in
side
there.
kind of overlooks that pond, that little.
Uh-huh.
Well, the reason I was asking about the land was if the park owned it, but like rented it out for income, because we wanted the land for something. But it sounds to me like you could use the space for something.
Yeah, the
That
only thing I
would-
could think of would be move admin office there, then the garage, the staff could actually have office and space. Feel a little bit more
So-
professional when you have an office.
You don't think it would appraise for 250? What do you think?
See, it depends. He wants to do some updates to it, but I think he didn't negotiate updates to it.
You'd have to change stuff
Yeah.
around anyway.
But
so
for an
why-
office, we don't need to make it teak wood or anything like that. We just need to change a few things and change
Depends
the
whose
paint
office
color.
it is.
You what?
Is it your office? Then you deserve the best. So
Nah, I don't really care about that.
yeah, but what were you going to say? How much?
I
No
would say
updates.
I was thinking 2.
Really?
Yeah, just because the kitchen needs. If I was a home buyer, that's the way I would look at it. Kitchen gut. Most of the wood is
Bathrooms.
bathrooms all need gutted, but the outside is awesome.
Yeah.
So that may help sell it
It's
and bring
kind
it
of
up. I think the outside brings up the value.
See, I think its location is going to be attractive to some
Yeah.
people. So,
Yeah. But still, we don't have 200,000.
I mean, if it's 180, I might buy it.
Well,
There's no rental potential from that.
Do you want to get into
I'm not
that
sure we wanna be in
industry?
the-
No, not for residential.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Could you make that,
Facility rental.
yeah.
The living room's close to where you could do something, but I could only see like the Blanton House living room. You know, it's kind
Could
of
you
like
build
that.
off like a covered patio off of it that's big enough so then it could?
I think you'd be surprised how many families would want an open space or a backyard to do a reunion type thing, just because of the number of people that contact Bill for Thanksgiving dinner
It's
at
close to
the,
the park.
and it's connected to the park.
Yeah.
That's what I wonder if you could, if you're visionary, could you?
No.
And,
hard to, like-
and if you
Family
did,
retreat.
and if you did that, would you still like have offices in there at all, or would it just be, and would you use the
No,
upstairs?
it'd probably
or-
just be a house because I wouldn't
Then it
want to be
would
like,
just be-
oh, sorry, you're getting married. I'm going upstairs to my office.
Part of it like almost like the nature center before you go into Blanton and show different things that's in Blanton Woods.
That would be kind of cool. You could have interpretive downstairs and then offices upstairs.
Like a visitor center or something
Yeah.
like that.
But it kind of spins me into my second pop fly.
Okay.
So my second pop fly is maybe last week or Monday of this week. I think it was last week. So I get a call from Bill Staley. He just bought an 80-acre something that he's developing into some properties, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I get out there and we're going to tear down this house that's on it. And I pop it open and it's a log cabin underneath.
Wow.
So really cool. So I went out there today, actually, before the batter shell meeting. I went out there.
Is that on
and,
39?
Do what?
Is that
Yeah.
on 39?
It's like, no, it's like, I'll send you that. But it's like back in the woods. So we pull it apart, or he pulls it apart. He contacts David Kroll. David Kroll says it's probably from the 1840s. And so there's like the cabin, and then there's, like a porch they build off of it. And then there's like another wing of it. I mean, it's in terrible shape. Don't get me wrong. A turkey vulture came out of the top window, and it was like probably 4 foot. It scared the crap out of me. I think those things haunt me. Just glaring at
They
me.
know you.
They heard you're after them.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the one we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Their pictures posted all other part of the trees.
Yeah.
Where they're at.
With beak marks all over your face.
Yeah.
So I took some pictures of it, and I'll show you guys the pictures. But I mean, it's really cool. Like you can see the axe marks. They're like 16 to 18-inch logs, cut in half, so they're a little skinnier.
Yeah.
It's got the notches in it and stuff. It's really cool, but I think so. I guess I'm looking for a little bit. Like I could see us pursuing that.
Is he
over
wanting
probably-
to sell it to us?
No, he wants to give it to
Give
us.
it to us.
Yeah, because he just wants it to go. Because it needs like tons of work.
So-
I mean, the whole foundation of it's junk. The bottom log all the way around is junk, so the floor is pretty much junk.
So it'd be like,
Someone puts barns together.
Yeah, he's got a number of a guy that David Kroll suggested to come out and give us an estimate on, like, hey, what would this cost to redo and get it into like a normal, maybe interpretive center. I don't really know. I was trying to think of like what could we do with this. Just kind of like it's like a. I think that one fits our model a little bit better.
Our
Maybe
mission,
just buying
maybe.
a house and turning
Right.
it into an office.
Right. Well,
Because I mean,
same-
we could go to the DAC and probably make offices and stuff work there.
Same as the discussion at the house at the bottom of the hill by the gazebo. I
Yeah.
mean, it was great property to have,
It's
but,
adjacent,
but
again,
really
it's
did it
adjacent.
fit what we
Yeah.
wanted to do?
But it's with this cabin, it opens up what would you use it for too. So I guess that's kind of like, do you guys want me to pursue and
How
throw
big
you
is
some
it?
options?
What's the size of it?
So the lower level, it's like 20 by 25, and then there's like one little corridor thing, like a wall or whatever on one side, which is really cool because on the outside, work is coming out. Ceilings are really short; they're like 7 foot. And it's got an upstairs, which is. So I think it's probably around 900. So once
Something like that
again,
might be
I
a
know.
visitor center going.
But like, where do we put it? That's where I was stuck with. Like,
on the
it would've been great
lawn
to have that
of
wastewater property.
what's his name's house? Yeah.
Yeah. We sell his house, someone moves it somewhere. And then we put, that would be kind of cool, actually.
Do you have any idea what kind of expense you're talking about to restore it, to move it?
Bill and I were talking, and we think at least 50,000.
Yeah, but it could be a $50,000 well spent if,
And I'm thinking, with the habit right now of the log cabin craze,
And barn craze. I
and
mean,
maybe
look at
you could
Cartilage
turn it
Barn.
into, but we need property, I
Look
think.
at
'Cause
Cartilage
I don't know
Barn.
where we'd put it on what we have.
this is kind of a harebrained idea and it probably makes no sense, but we're gonna have restrooms have to be built eventually up in Aiken Park. What if it becomes the center, the base of that, you move it to Aiken Park, it looks historic from the outside and all that, but then you put your restrooms in it and that kind of stuff.
Only thing is like, put sports in there. You think?
Plus, I think
I
that,
was trying to think of that too. Could we
Plus, I
like put it
think
next to a
that-
shelter? Let the shelter come off of it, and then you had kind of had
Woods,
the ins and outs.
North
Blanton
Blanton
Woods.
Are you allowed?
Yeah, that's what we talked about, getting rid of the shelter at Blanton Woods, and maybe you could put that
Oh, that would
facility
be
in
cool.
there, and that would fit the atmosphere. But
what
then I'm
about
like
that, what about when you do
scared
cross
of
the
people
bridge?
messing with it there
Oh,
because it's so hidden that
So
it
remote.
becomes
it's a perfect setting for it. but
It is a
also the
yeah, it
perfect
would be
setting for
premium setting.
Is there any room at the Blanton House you could put it?
That parking area.
There's
Front
no
lawn,
access to
just
that
the
field
front
right there
lawn,
behind
legitimate.
Simmons' house. Over the bridge, behind Battershell's, behind Simmons' house.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask
Is there-
you.
is
There's a
there-
big
there's a
lot
big
there.
field right there,
There's a
right?
big
Yeah.
field there.
And how would you get to it?
I don't know. That's what I
You'd
was
cross
asking.
you'd have to walk to it. Is that
Yeah,
bad?
utilities to it.
Yeah, that too.
What about the front lawn of the plant?
Well, it's the
The
beauty of
wedding,
Blanton
yeah.
House.
Well, it's a beauty, but to the side, do you use all of that area to the side, to the north side of the Blanton House for parking?
The north side's all for parking.
But there's no
But-
corner there.
I mean, could you put it into those woods? There's a lot of room in the woods.
Well,
See, that's what I was thinking.
when do-
If you
when
put
do
it
the
off to the
woods-
side there,
When do the woods drop off? I
But
mean,
then
could you?
you couldn't have anything simultaneous of something going on at the plant house.
Just a thought, you know, we have that patio area, and we have the tent or whatever. But like, we talked about at some point having a thing. Well, if you had that kind of in the corner, but left one wall open for more of a band or stage, you know, raise it up a little bit.
Well, I don't think that is a bad idea, and neither do I think the bathroom is, because those are good, like, brainstorming ideas. But I also think if you're going to have somebody, like, restore it, then you're probably not gonna want to remodel it. You know what I'm trying to
Repurpose it
say?
into-
Or
Yeah.
repurpose it.
I think it'd be worth seeing what somebody says.
The
I think
cost.
so too.
Yes.
Because I mean, if we're gonna, you could spend $200,000 on the one house, but you probably have the same impact by spending 50
Right.
remodeling this thing, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I was thinking, could we repurpose it somehow, blend into some sort of wedding thing too?
Oh.
At some point, you could build a log
Oh.
cabin too. So we need to.
Yeah. What's the cost of
Could
the
you build
log
it for
cabin?
$50,000?
I don't know, but I mean,
20 by 25.
we would have to move
You
it.
could build an
There's all-
authentic log cabin.
What
That's
is
a
his
great
time
point.
frame?
That's a two-car garage. 20 by 25.
So he's gonna have that full build out. He said in 6 to 8 months, but he's ready to move quickly.
That's what I
So,
figured, is he'd want that out of
My
there.
thoughts would be tomorrow. I would just go ahead and contact the Noblesville place that David Kroll said, and bring them in and be like, "Hey, here it is. Here's the location. Look it over. Tell me what you think would be to put this somewhere else and have it. You know, it doesn't have to be fancy, but just regular walls, watertight. You know, sitting on a foundation.
Usable.
Yeah,
Like a Connor
'cause we can
Prairie
mold
free
it later.
feature.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
those people
I mean-
walk in and out of all day long, but when it rains, it keeps the water out, it has a fireplace, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we could use it as a shelter too if we wanted to. You could make it a bit more open air. That's an option.
I think people would love
I'm just
that.
worried about, you know, with our recent shelter
Vandalism.
people. We don't want to spend 50 grand and then have, you know, do on it.
Yeah. Well,
I think it makes sense just to see if that's.
Pursue it.
possible
Yeah, I
cost
do
wise.
too.
And we
I
could-
also
Please
think-
pursue it.
we
But
could
what about the
hypothesize
batter
all
shell
day.
thing?
now wait a minute,
Say
wait a
no.
minute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the cartilage barn, they moved from the YMCA and to the fairgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they take that apart
Yes.
like a puzzle?
Yep.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you did that to this cabin, do we have to have a plan? Can we take it apart and store it someplace?
And
You know what I
that's an
mean?
option.
Until we decide what
I don't know
what we
where
want to do
we
with it.
store it, but. it
But
is-
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's been in the elements since 1840. It's not gonna, a tarp
And
over
they
it's not gonna hurt
actually,
it.
David Kroll did history on it too, so kind of cool. There's a little paragraph. I'll forward it to you guys. But I guess there's like some cemetery there that they redid, like
Oh,
on
very
the
cool.
back end or on the bottom end, and then it was in the Gentry family for a long time, like 1940s maybe. And then there's like a little gap in. The two brothers own it now, and then Bill Friday.
My second thing was, and if you can do that, because that's not gonna cost us a lot of money right up front. And I'm trying to be physically responsible. Because I have a new subscription. Do we have to, does it have to be one or the other? Like,
Well-
if we're doing the cabin, we can't do the Battersea House. If we're doing the Battersea House, we can't do the cabin.
we could probably afford. The other one, we would probably have to either finance
Figure
it
out
or,
what to-
yeah, and then it's like, is that really something we want to be doing? Do we really, I mean, it's not going to bring in any income at all.
It'd be your
I
new
think-
Blanton house as far as
Well,
Mike's concerned.
Yeah, it would be another Bland house for Mike, I
My
think,
thought is,
too,
is
but-
it on our priority
Priority
list of
list.
needs?
No, because I think when we talked about the DAC upgrades and we did our tour, you know, our thoughts are to eventually, you know, probably move into the DAC and add more office space in there, just because we have the space once we remodel stuff.
It also pulls it off the tax rolls, not that one house,
Yeah.
but each piece we buy out of, off of an individual,
Oh,
it's
really?
tax revenues we lose.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And it could be something too with that cabin where maybe we look at those properties that the town owns.
Mm-hmm.
And we take a look at those again. And maybe one of those could be the new home for
We
the
might
cabin.
already have a place.
And then you could do rental stuff, and do some sort of outside thing too. Because the waste management one's a little bit more modern, a little bit more open, but it's not going to have the nostalgia that this thing's going to have. I mean, it's going to have history. If you do something cool outside, it could be like an indoor-outdoor shelter.
It could be educational.
Yeah, educational thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we team up with the museum in
Yeah.
town.
Museum would probably already have information about families
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
There's a lot of
I'm
opportunities.
all about more land. I love the pocket park idea.
Mhm.
So I think it makes our priority list. It's just not.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would suggest is that we just keep our ears peeled for some sort of funds to maybe even tickle that. But yeah, I would say the cabin's way up there.
No, it's kind
But
of like
but we need to have some answers from,
yeah, financial. Is it feasible?
yeah.
And we don't know.
Plus he's giving it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The price
That's
is pretty
huge.
good.
And I think batter shells would be hard to justify right now if we don't have a hard, fast plan.
Do you know
As to
anything
what we're
about
gonna
their
do with
plans?
it.
Are they selling immediately?
They already
Are
bought a house.
Oh,
in,
okay.
Park Ridge. Actually, I think a couple are making. And they're moving into it in August. So
Their house is on the market now?
no, it's not on the market because he wanted to look at. Today.
Hers is, I think.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't.
I think hers is.
Elizabeth, what's your thoughts on these two endeavors?
I think I agree. I think the Better Shell House doesn't make sense. I've heard him talk about vandalism over the years. He goes to our church.
Oh, really?
He's always worried about people
'Cause they're
smoking
crossing
dope
by.
back there and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, I don't know. Cabin sounds cool.
Yeah.
Do you think the historical museum could help financially with that at all? They probably don't
They
have
could
much
probably help
money,
us
but
with grants, maybe.
maybe.
I'm
Oh,
sure there's probably.
I-
They're
I'm
pretty tight
sure-
themselves,
I'm
aren't
pretty sure
they?
They don't have money.
They don't
for
have any
it,
money.
But
But-
they have great fundraisers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they do. They
Dance
probably have
for the
more money than
cabin.
they
You
used
know,
to.
how much did they make last year?
Oh, my gosh, tons, I'm
They could
sure.
enough to buy a cabin.
Yeah, exactly.
But grant writing, don't you think? Those guys are in.
Well, I was gonna bring up, Rotary grants. But where I was gonna bring it up was for the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Because you might be able to convince them to apply for district grants as well as foundation grants and their grants. And I noticed in the picture, we might put the rotary wheel on it and
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Kinda
to
like
me
the
what's
park.
on it.
But I don't know, I mean, it could be the same thing with the cabin, I don't know.
What
I know a lot
happens,
of them have been attending.
what happens to that cemetery? Didn't you say there was like graves by this cabin or
That
something?
comes-
It's south of it.
You gotta take that.
That's I think some of those gentry folks are in that.
I mean, are they recorded
Lower
and
side.
stuff for genealogical purposes and all that sort of thing? Because I'm
They
wondering.
only have 2 paragraphs. That's all I got.
Oh, okay.
Bob
'Cause I-
Gentry might be a good source for information.
Just because I'd had conversations before with Judy White about the land between here and right here, you know, her cemetery
Yeah.
and a retaining wall and stuff that looks natural, and we were thinking about buying that house. And she's got a little bit of money, and I wonder if there's a cemetery out there that she would be interested in preserving or whatever and be part of the cabin day. Maybe I'll just fill her out.
Yeah,
She's
maybe
in
it's
for
a
lunch or something.
township.
Yeah,
park.
we've always wanted a way to where the township can share in the cost of our parks, because we know that the township residents get the use of our parks free of charge, because they're not assessed a park fee.
Well, especially when this cemetery has such a, you know, border with the park. They share such a border. It seems to me like it could be a little bit more. Whether the park was helping, or she was investing money in it, or connecting our trails with their.
A lot of parks actually maintain cemeteries.
There you go.
It's pretty prominent.
I might just mention something to her.
I'm
Tell my
hearing,
maintenance staff. Yeah, you're gonna be taking care of the cemetery now.
That, aren't they?
Will?
so am I hearing consensus, kind of holding off on Battershell's property?
I don't, especially if
The
it has to be
exploring-
acted on by all
Exploring
of
the
us.
cabin,
Yeah.
seeing what we can do there, seeing what the costs are. And then,
And I think Rick, you'd want to let Rick know that right away.
Yeah, I'll tell him actually
Yeah.
probably tonight.
the other chestnuts you wanna throw out at us?
I have one, but I can't remember what it is.
Well, tell him what we talked about.
Oh,
So that if he ever came to the point where
Yeah,
he
I
didn't want to put any money into the house, and he'd rather hold off, or he'd want, you know what I mean?
Ash trees. You got a couple pockets of some ash trees that are they're gonna be coming down.
What's going on with
I'm
ash
a
trees?
little worried about some of the locations, Swinging Bridge being one. There's a pocket of, well, there's 2 on the entry to the Swinging Bridge that are dead. There's still greenery on one of them, but they have the pock marks on the bark. It's just a matter of time for they're going down. There's a bigger one that has like, it almost looks like a crease in it. I don't know if that, I'm not a tree expert, but it looks like it's wanting to go.
Is this some sort of disease?
What's our
Ash
tree board?
board, emerald ash
What's our
board.
tree board say?
The tree board, well, the tree advisory committee only works on things in the right of ways. So none of these are in the right of way. So they're up to us. But to take them out, it's around 12 grand. Yeah. And it's actually a pretty good deal because if you think about it.
But think about what it would cost
Yeah.
us to replace that bridge
Oh,
if
yeah,
if
yeah.
it falls
Yeah.
down, so.
The bridge, I think we got, when we did the bridge estimate, the guy gave me a quote and he said it'd be
Is it insured like our amphitheater?
We can make
Yeah.
that log cabin bigger.
Well, we can wait for it to fall. Okay,
But-
this one.
So, I guess, so we don't really have any maintenance funds to go after those things. So my thoughts would be is approaching the council about, hey, I have some problematic trees in some scary areas. Could we use the host fund to maybe take care of those trees?
And we need $250,000. See, there's your
Plus
answer.
cabin 50.
12 plus 50.
Yeah.
We whittled those down to a log cabin.
So
do you figure in your budget like tree removal maintenance?
we
Because
only have
that is-
$20,000 for maintenance
For the whole
budget.
park.
For the most part, you spend more than that on your house.
Trees alone are expensive.
Yeah,
To,
and we've been, kind of whittling by, getting by, and it's dangerous when you see them because every time I go by it, it just gives me the.
Well, then the one over by the diamond, I texted you about.
Yeah, we got rid of that one.
So, I mean,
It's easy to
that's
do
stuff that you
single
haven't-
trees. The hard part is like now we have clusters and there's
Yeah.
like 5 or 6, and they're all in a spot where, and I'm scared the bank's going to wash away once we get rid of them too.
Yeah.
Because 4 of them are right there, right before the swinging bridge, and once you take those out, it's only a matter of time before
Erosion. So does that mean you need to plant something new right there?
there's really no room. I don't think it would survive too. It's so sandy right there.
So your staff works miracles anyway. How far do you go before you stop and then have to hire somebody in?
So we just hired Matt on, so we've been taking on a little bit more aggressive
I wondered
tree
about that.
mitigation. And he's been lifting the front lot. I don't know if you've seen it, but we've actually been removing a lot of the dead trees and cutting in on the sucker trees that are inside the pine trees. He's been doing a great job on that. So the front of the park's been pretty good, but now we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty of stuff where, like, I don't feel comfortable with my staff doing something to where it could fall on something that's
Exactly.
expensive. Or
So
you know,
that's
risk
your
security.
line that you
I
hire
think,
it out.
yeah, because one, I'm putting them at risk as much
Yeah.
as I'm putting myself at risk. I don't want to put my staff at risk.
Yeah.
I have to. Rather go and plead for the money
And doesn't
than be
he?
like, well,
doesn't
I
he?
took out the swinging bridge.
But doesn't he give you a good deal when you use?
Yeah, Roy is taking care of us.
Roy, yeah.
And I'm always working him down. So.
Yeah.
Well, I try to negotiate, and I'll be like, all right, get the price for this. Well, if you throw that in, I'll actually throw in 2 more. I'll actually do that price. So I try to work him down as much as I
Okay.
can. But he's a good guy. He takes care of us. And I try to give him work when he's slow because
That
the
makes
dollars work out better for us that way. And sometimes, like with the ash trees, usually he can log them. He's not going to be able to log them. So I'm going to approach the council probably in the first meeting of August. Also, I'll be working on the rates. That rate that we passed, we're going to go to the council with the same rates and move forward on that so we can start pushing forward. With that, too, will be the remodel of the tables in the train station. And just some little fidgety things in the kitchen.
You doing that? Are you going to go to the council in August?
All that stuff we have planned. And most of the stuff's easy, just purchasing things. The hard part will be the bathroom. We're going to upgrade it to hands-free things, handicap access. Ordered diaper changing stations to that'll go in as well. Just to kind of upgrade it, make it a little bit more. I think people will really notice the difference. Plus, we're also going to be charging more come the first of the year. So now we can show, hey, this is why we're charging more. We got brand new tables, brand new chairs. Kitchen's updated, bathrooms are updated.
Can you fix the doors with that? Is that?
The doors, we're actually going to flip them around like we did
Yeah.
the North Park restroom, and we're going to make them so they pull out instead of pushing in. They should never push in. They'll be panic barred too, so that when you're in there, you're never be locked in. But we can lock them from the outside. We're going to use the same system we use on the North Park bathrooms. It'll be dusk to dawn only, the outside.
What happened to your fridge?
Do what?
Refrigerator. What happened?
Oh, just the pool fridge went down, and Plan B was grab the one. The spare one from the
I
garage.
thought somebody must have damaged the one.
No, the
At
fan went
at
out,
the-
and it's such an old
Oh,
one. It's
okay.
kind of like, do you spend $200 on a service call, or do you spend $250 and get another?
I thought it was the train station that somebody might have.
No, that
Tinkered
one
with.
could probably use.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, it's a basic function. It's really kind of an extra
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
On to old business.
Okay, so
Amphitheater.
this is where the questions come in. So from our past meeting, we talked about if you look at the polygon estimates there in your packet. Looks like one got folded. Yeah, printed out, folded. So in your packets, we have some estimates there. The 3 estimates are the ones we talked about. So I got the first estimate from the one that we like the most, of course, and of course it's like twice as expensive as the other one. So
First one's only like one.
$1.
It's one. how it printed out on our. It was folded up.
Oh, it got shorted?
Yeah.
It's 179,000.
Ah,
We need to add
So,
on to that.
and then that is on the next page is the top one.
That's-
Of course it is.
This is the 179, the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty.
So you gotta add in 50% for possible of up to 50% for construction costs. So you're really looking at 230,000.
Let's move to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. So the second picture there, that was our like Plan B, and we still really liked it, and it was the $73,000. So this one's
Is
actually
there a size difference? Is that why?
no, there's not really that much of a size difference. The one is a little bit deeper, but there's not really a great size difference. There's still about both. They're both about 50 on the front. The problem with the one that you see on the top, that one is a custom one. That's
Well,
120 feet wide, which is
Well-
bigger than our pad. So that's not the same one we got the estimate on. We got the estimate on 75
75 what?
feet.
Oh, okay. So the bottom one's 73,000 plus how much do
Or
you think?
actually, the one we got the estimate on, I think it's 50. Yeah,
I saw
50 by
50
45.
What's our pad now?
90 by 75. So it's a lot smaller and double the price.
So the bottom one's
All these we're looking
73,000
at
plus.
are in the 50.
Yeah, they don't really make them except custom in more than 50. So that's why you see that one at 180. The original one that we like. But I also started doing some research and I found another one that's fairly similar. Just the colors are different and you can get it painted. And I got an estimate on it, but it's still the same 50 wide, but it's only 127. So that's a pretty good size difference, and it's possibly manageable. If we can get some grants in there, and maybe we could use some non-reverting because these dollars would eventually go into non-reverting and take a lot of $200.
Still know if I love it 50% more than the one.
Do you?
Do what? Do you love
I
it?
still know if I love it 50% more than I do the bottom one that's 74.
Which one?
The one you're talking about.
74,000.
Yeah, so
And
here's-
the other one that said 120 something. If it's
I
similar
love
to
the top one, but you're
Here's-
right. For that money, it doesn't make
Yeah, it
sense.
doesn't seem like there's that big.
But
So
this-
it's pretty much the same thing except for white. It would be what we'd actually buy instead because what we're buying is not the pillars. This would be actually what it would look like. So I got an estimate on that from a different company, and it was like
So we can have this same feeling for 127 instead of 179.
plus 50%.
So that
Let's
puts us
back up. How much do we have total for?
So we have 132,000.
Yep.
90 guaranteed. 30 was 92, I think.
What?
The insurance.
We have 132. We have estimates
that's a
from
total.
our architect guy on the frilly stuff,
I actually
stonework or brickwork. or
no.
anything.
And because of
Who's doing that?
I just got
Oh,
the
Scott.
the price back from Polygon last week on that second one. He was
So-
waiting on the Polygon supplier.
So what's the 40?
40.
There's one that says
Oh.
grand total of 40.
The 40,000.
Is that this one?
Yeah, that was the lean-to looking one where it's got like a bunch of. Yeah.
That's
Pretty much
deep.
counted that out when
Oh,
we
yeah,
saw
we don't
the
like
other
that one, remember?
Yeah.
Well, you can decorate that up with some concrete, with the rock
Give you a
pillars.
place to start.
Now go back to the one that you did, that one that you have in your hand.
Yeah.
You said it doesn't have the pillars? You mean like the rock?
Yeah, well, what we would be buying in this 180 is not the rock anyway, so it wouldn't have the rock feature. It's just steel poles.
Okay.
So, which is pretty much this one. It just looks more primitive than
But we
the
can
others.
add that on later?
Yeah, you can
Can I
add
see
it on
that?
later. Yeah, I was gonna. So I got estimates on 3 of them. There's a wave one in here too.
And stuff. We have a lot of money to do decorative stuff.
I just got my brain thinking that there's gotta be some other options. So you got this one.
I like that better.
Yeah. But if you enhance that one looks more like the clamshell pad. I think that's, plus I would make it black and white looks weird. Yeah, if you want to pass that around. And then I also got, he's got all the specs on here too, but I got just a generic, like, holiday, away in a manger layout, like a hexagonal one. This is like what you see at like some of the smaller clubs, that all wood frame, and those are pretty cheap. Wood's gonna be a lasting thing. What the layout.
So that one you pretty well.
Sorry,
set
I'm
up.
like littering you with paper.
That's all right. Well, and you've probably been through this, and I was on the meeting, so I'm holding up.
And they also gave me this wave design. I think you've seen these before, where it's got like a wave in them. There's the three. The wave one was like 106. The one that we liked, that one is 92, which I think
I like that one.
we can. The wave one's a little
Yeah, I think
weird. You
it's
see
good.
the full picture.
This one that's white now, you said you'd do that black, and how much is this one?
That one's the 127.
What, on
That's
this one, what was
everything.
this, was that on the, are you comparing the same size on all of them?
Yeah, they're all around 50. Doesn't look expensive.
Maybe it's just me, but I think that we try to get a good value that will last a long time. That is structurally sound. When we have a function there, you're gonna be looking at whatever it is that's going on. You're gonna be looking at the band or whatever. You're not really gonna be studying the beauty of this band shell. I don't know. I think that you get something that's gonna last a long time, functional, structurally sound, and I think the cosmetics is maybe not quite worth it.
I think,
Well, and maybe what you do is you look to the grants. You know, we buy the structure itself, and then we look out for grants and some fundraising maybe to cover the
Install.
brickwork and,
yeah, but I think along with this remark is, if you are watching a feature there and you're noticing the structure, it's probably because it's distracting you. Like it's not nice enough, or it
Yeah.
looks like a manger, or it looks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm voting for one over the other. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that he's absolutely right, and that if they're being distracted by it, that means we picked the wrong one.
So, what route do you want me to go?
Well, I don't know, and maybe I got confused, but I think this one looks.
Yeah, I like that
Well,
one too. Price
It's
is better.
simple looking, it looks, and
It looks like the old amphitheater.
yeah, I think it's just fine, and
In my mind, I thought we were down to these two,
This one's
quite a bit
right?
But then I found.
But I don't think we're down to these two. I think we're down to this one and that one. And we're gonna pick that one because we can't afford this one.
but the
So
bottom
this
one there is the least of the three.
I know, but still, I think we need to find grants and stuff, because I think it's between these two. And we're gonna pick that one because of the money, and still need to find some grants and stuff.
He said that he can.
With the one on the bottom.
I don't have any problem with the one on the bottom. I thought it was more expensive.
No, it's cheaper.
That's a lot cheaper.
This one's the cheapest.
There's nothing wrong with the long on
I
the
don't-
bottom.
I don't
I
have
just
any
like
problem
the
with
top
this
of
one.
those.
Cheapest, right?
Oh yeah, that one's.
Oh, yeah, that's the cheapest one.
But that one just looks.
No, I have no problem with the one on the bottom. I thought it was more expensive. I guess I stated what I believe, and so now, then that way I'd go for this one, the one on the bottom.
Yeah.
So the
And what you make it, and we
the
can.
white one we
however
can expand though. He said he can
He
make it bigger, which none of them really said they could make it bigger. but he said he could.
So that adds value.
So to me, I was like, I kind of thought a little bit of the, like Marcia did, where I was like, well, why don't we just buy everything, and then we work to get the money to install it?
Oh,
Because we have the money to buy everything. You know,
It's-
we're pretty
it's the
close,
money
unless
to-
we expand it a little bit.
well, you could throw a topper over that too, next to the cabin in the back 40, until we can afford to put it together. So if you did
We need
that,
a shed.
if you did that, in your heart of hearts, which one would you pick? You.
The thrifty, well, visually, I like that top one. Of
Exactly.
course. But I think, you know, the cheap person in me likes the bottom one, but I don't think it's big enough.
So would you stick with the top one, or would you move on to the? I
thought
like
it was
the white
50.
one.
thought
I don't
both were
like the
50.
Yeah, I thought they were both the same size. That was my question is, did
Well,
we
but so
compare?
this one's deeper. The top one is deeper than the front one. So it's going to be.
They're
a
all
little
50
smaller
wide.
footprint. Yeah, they're
This
all
one's
50
42
wide.
by
All of them.
30.
We looked
Yeah,
at
that
it
one's
50
42.
wide. Oh.
So I mean, if you think about it, you got 25 feet on both sides.
Not that we're bringing the symphony back, at least under my tenure, but would that hold if we ever had a symphonic orchestra come? Would it hold it?
You still got the pad, so I mean, put them all in there, maybe weird. That's why I was thinking if you
I think
did
said
the,
the pad's 90.
I think the top ones kind of open you up.
90 by
The top one or the white one kind of open you up
There
where
was
it
probably
looks like you could expand beyond the
10,
boundaries.
20.
Where the bottom one, it looks more,
Yeah.
like this is
I
what
totally
you get.
agree.
You're in here.
Well, what was this? What was the width of the actual cover?
Of the cover is 72.
That's about what I estimated. Because I said probably 10 feet on each side
Yeah.
was the pad.
And I think it doesn't have to be as big as the amphitheater, because the amphitheater was buku big.
And this and say,
But
this on that.
I'd hate to buy something that's like half of it.
Oh, I do too. That's my concern is I don't want to put something in that's too small and then regret that we didn't make it big enough.
The hard part is it's kind of like the way I see it is you're buying a minivan, you know, when you only use it on vacation.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little difficult because we don't really need the minivan on
No.
a day-to-day basis.
And we're not, at least the chamber's not bringing the symphony back right now, so.
At least
we,
not that
we did talk about doing
least not
smaller
that simple.
orchestras,
Yeah.
like 16-piece orchestras,
Right.
as an option, and they would fit perfect in any one
Right.
of these. So maybe our
Target's different.
maybe
I like all,
we just rent a car instead of buying a minivan.
I like them all, Will, but man, the costs
Yeah.
The-
going up.
yeah, the jump.
Is there any, would it make sense to talk to like a contractor or Edwards, Brigden, Patterson Horse, say, hey, we want a pre-engineered steel structure like this?
Yeah,
And they
what
say,
could you
okay,
do?
Nucor makes something we could put together that looks very similar.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
who's the pole barn builders?
Morton and.
Morton, yeah. I mean, Morton, you would think they could put something like this up.
Or even our barn guy, would he do that? The guy that did the barn guy?
Yeah.
That's, yeah, these are like pre-engineered
that
steel
looked
structures. It's like a Nucor or something like that would be
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
I mean,
what these are.
interesting. But most of these places are really buying it from same. I mean, if you look at this one and the white one, they're like the same exact thing.
Oh, you mean they're buying
They're
their
getting it from the same
materials
supplier.
and
Yeah.
putting them together and
Let's go
selling you a
straight to the
package?
supplier.
I know, but can't because usually the supplier's only dealing straight with the businesses. So. That's the hard part. And, well, and I even thought about. I mean, really, it's 4 posts.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
talking.
There's not a lot to it.
Yeah.
The roof, but I mean, if it all comes,
Playscape was more than that.
yeah, exactly, a lot more than that. But you know, I kind of thought about, well, if we could, you know, what would it take for our staff to do that? I just don't have enough staff. Plus, I would, you know, wind and all that stuff.
Would it be worth asking? I mean, again, I didn't want to know Edwards Rigdon, but I mean, maybe some of the people.
Yeah, that was our next step
Well,
after talking to Scott
Brian
Perkins.
Detty
was-
is PD rep for Patterson.
For Patterson Horth.
And they do pre-engineered steel buildings.
Would Scott even have an opinion?
He wouldn't, they normally would do
That
it
you would want.
small, but
Yeah.
in a case like
That's
this.
the only thing is like, if we go with this, you know, do we
Daddy
even need
Patterson
him?
Ward.
Maybe we just need,
He lives out on Hawthorne Lake.
you know, I don't know. Do we need him?
His house is for sale for like $1.6 million or something. Easter,
Take a check.
It's an IOU.
Mr. Beaster.
yeah.
So, I'm still stuck back with, so maybe next step is to take these options and go to,
Take the top
whoever would
one and go
construct it,
to,
some options.
go to,
I'd like to have somebody that's more knowledgeable about this, tell us why we need to go through these people.
and who would you suggest?
I mean, again, I don't know
Rigdon
people
or
that it was
who?
Rigdon, but I mean,
Scott Perkins said that he's like, the only thing that you will be able to. Looking to be true.
But I mean,
Well, I
there's,
still say-
there's
I
so
s-
many outdoor pavilions at the fairgrounds, all that's, is that Nucor? Or is
We could sure
They're
find out though.
different than ours too, because
Yeah.
we want the rounded. The rounded is what jacks the price up. And
Oh,
that's what Scott said. He's like, you can go with flat things.
That's
You
why
don't
this
have
one's
to get all the
42.
extra engineering into it, and you'll be able to afford anything flat for nothing. Just looks, the flat looks so different than the curve.
See, I liked that one that half of an octagon or.
it
But,
gives the effective curve.
yeah. Yeah, I liked that one, but, you know, I don't even have a vote.
yeah, I think it's worth a little more
Well,
research.
yeah, I do
We
too.
don't have to do anything.
We don't
right
have a
now.
hard, fast schedule on this, correct?
No, I mean, we can do whatever we want. The only thing I worry about is the host fund works project.
Yeah.
Because if that goes through.
We go past the end of the year,
Yeah, we're gonna.
there's no
Yeah,
guarantees.
there's no guarantee. So that's why I want to have. That's why I was talking about maybe buying it, and then we could sit and try to get the money.
so we
and
need
do
to
the
really
rest.
move on this before December 31st.
Well, I think that
mean,
gives
I
us,
hope we would have some sort of decision.
I mean, I think this
I
gives us
see it
enough
being
time. If we want to go
2
talk to
months.
somebody else and get an opinion, we got time to do that.
I guess I'm a little concerned too on the size.
Yeah, I know. That's where I sit too. What I was kind of hoping is that we look at the white one, and then that one has the most room for expansion, and then we expand it out, maybe get 10 feet more on both sides. And then I'd feel comfortable about it mimicking
The old amphitheater.
the old amphitheater. And I think if we kind of mimic that, it would be cool because you're replacing it with something that still is artsy looking, it's going to have that acoustical, throw towards the front. And I don't know that you really have
Did
to do
we-
that much more to it besides some pillar action.
Did we talk at one time about putting walls in the back?
Yeah, I still eventually would want to do some sort of separation area.
But
And
all
that's
that could
why I
be-
wanted Scott to be involved because how to blend that in and still make it look nice.
But even that can be done on down the line.
Yeah, everything can be done on down
Yeah.
the line, but the most important thing is if we get that structure in there, we're good to go. We can rent it, we can have things there, and
Once it's in there, you might even change your mind about, well, we should have this be bricked or stoned,
Yeah.
or this be, you know what I mean, as it fits into the environment.
Cost standpoint, I know everybody hates it, but if you put this down there, it was brand new, and put stone around it, I'd complain.
No, because they won't know what else we looked at.
They wouldn't have
Yeah.
seen that. We're the only ones.
Yeah, they-
$40,000.
Yeah, that's my point.
Disregard these two. This never
$90,000 for erection and structure, and then stone work around it. I mean,
Because
you
how
probably
much
put
was
some-
that?
Maybe add some walls.
That was
even.
40, that was 7,
40.
No, this was-
that one was 40, yeah.
I mean, don't look at ignore all the other ones.
And what size was it?
That's only 42 feet wide.
We'd have to
Yeah.
get it bigger.
yeah, I don't think that one can expand. Anything that's polygon can't expand without.
But even if we did
Price.
spend 40 on this, but then we added stonework and it tried to
If you put
expand it,
walls,
blah, blah, are we still
you know,
gonna
out.
spend a 90, 100, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we have that money.
That's what I mean.
We don't have
So
that.
we're really not saving, we're not, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's on top of. you wouldn't be able
Yeah,
to do
these
that with
others
the
are-
others. You're gonna just have.
Yeah, you're just gonna have the
Yeah.
structure
Because
unless
that
we
wasn't
invest in
included in
it
that
through
anyway.
non-reverting.
Let's say we kick the can down the road at least.
Just
for
to get some
another
more
meeting.
information. Yeah.
Okay. You wanna talk to someone at Edwards
I
or
can,
anything?
yeah, absolutely.
So what about the Scott Perkins side of it? Do we pursue that, or, I mean, really, if we're just buying a prefab thing, I don't even know if we
Need an
need him.
architect.
Right.
Until maybe after we could do a landscape
Yeah, until we know what
structural
we're really
design plan.
gonna have, maybe.
Yeah, and they may, I mean, Edward Freedom may have somebody in house that can do it. Tie it into what we have. And I can reach out to them.
Plus, they're local. They might be eager to work with us on stuff.
I don't know, I just got a bid from them, it was pretty darn expensive.
Well, since they're making a lot of money off the chamber, then they'll probably give us a deal.
Chamber, we're talking about moving the chamber office. And just the inside finish of a 850 square feet, $22,000. Who? Pennington?
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good connection.
Oh, yeah? I'm waiting on a bid from Bob Sandberg, too, because, see, we're trying to use members, and Pennington's not a member, but, I mean, at 22, we're not, there's no way I mean, it's not my decision,
Okay,
but,
this makes sense, or it
If
doesn't.
Jeff is better, we can just, I'll chip in and get him a membership.
okay. I'll call you on that.
Or at least see, does this make sense?
Yeah,
Sound like it, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right, we're moving on quickly. The Black Vultures.
Oh.
Just an update on that. So we signed a contract with Simon Davies. We're waiting on him to give us that contract back. I guess he's got some loopholes he's got to run through with permitting and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much just waiting on him. And then I can kind of tell you what's going to happen. What or when. So I'm hoping that happens soon. But the tree across from the CVS, I don't know if he's taken it down yet, but there were some bees in it, so we had to do some fumigation before he told me he would take it down.
He likes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's moving along.
Hearing no discussion or questions. Move on to handrail.
So the handrails came in yesterday. We have the handrails. Gary should be. We finished up the sidewalk on the tennis courts, so he's going to do some dirt work on that, and then the handrails by the end of next week. Yay!
Good.
I hate to hold you up, but where's the handrails go?
The DAC entry to Bostic and the
Oh,
doors on
Marcia,
the right and
we've
left
already
side.
talked about.
I know, I'm sorry. Well, I hate to ask.
I'm kidding.
You're gonna
I
ask
wasn't
me.
sure. I
You're gonna
wasn't
ask
sure. I
me to
was
quit
glad for
coming to
that.
these meetings.
No, because we asked Tracy to quit coming. It hasn't worked yet.
All right, moving on, Blanton House.
The Blanton House. So the roofing guy said that we should put the roof in before the gutters. So that flips us all around. So I'm probably gonna just put together an estimate. Let's just do the whole thing at one time
Absolutely.
in the fall. Just rip the Band-Aid off at one time.
Who are you using?
All season.
All season? Zach?
Yeah.
Have you seen his work?
Yeah, I think Bill said that he's done some stuff by you. He also, I think, did a neighbor.
Did my
in
house.
neighborhood. Did he do your house? You like
What did
it?
you think?
And their prices are pretty good.
Price was great. They did
Yeah.
the apartment behind the shop just this last week. The only thing that kind of shocked me was he never showed up. He had this crew come in and do this.
Yeah, they're all
fabulous
like
job.
that now. They,
Yeah.
there's,
And I guess I just was, I don't know why. And ninguna habla inglés. Todos hablan español, nada más. And so I fed him breakfast, lunch, and desayuno.
yeah.
But they did a fantastic job. I just thought he'd be there. I don't know why.
Painters are a lot like that. Just contracted.
And he does other
schedule.
stuff too. He doesn't do just roofs.
Yeah.
So that was
Does
interesting.
gutters too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, drywall and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, we hope.
Is
So,
he giving you a deal on the gutters? Does that come with the roof, or
I mean, it's
he
it's
had
not
some
a
sort of
deal,
special?
but
Okay.
It's a good deal for us. I mean, it's copper, so
Oh,
there's
well,
only
then,
so
yeah.
much of a deal you can
That's
get on
different.
copper gutters, but we're gonna do it right. And
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it. What the house deserves. I
Yeah.
think.
All right, wayfinding, front sign.
Just trying to get the amphitheater stuff done. Front side.
Oh, I can't wait for that front side to come up.
I think it's gonna be.
You kind of have to, don't you?
Well, I just want to make sure I'm completing a project or at least
Yeah.
getting it started before I start another one because I have about 13 going right now.
Squirrel.
I know, that's how I feel. But
I don't know how you do it.
once we confirm some things on the amphitheater, I can start working on it. I'm not saying it needs to be all the way completed. I'm just saying right now we're still working on that premium direction for this one. Once we get that, I mean, I think the front sign's actually. We already have everything. It's going to look. It's just getting the drawing.
Are you gonna need council approval for anything on that front sign?
So, but I think we should probably.
I'm not saying you don't come to the council to
Yeah.
inform, I'm just asking.
I've already been talked to by one.
Oh, well, that's
person.
why I'm asking.
So,
I think we leave a sleeping dog alone.
I'm just,
well, I think it's a courtesy thing. When we didn't do courtesy things previously, it seemed like it was not good for us.
I was just referring to the fact that the composition of the council will change. And
Yeah.
if you need any votes for anything,
Well, I think
and I'll
we'll do it.
stop
in a-
there.
We'll give them options like we talked about, and I think those options. We can come in with the recommendation we want to do.
Yeah.
But there's some other options. I think if we did this amphitheater thing and we had that extra option, maybe we could show that.
Moving on, reports, year-to-date financial reports. Has everyone had opportunity to review those? If not, we'll take a moment to do that. Will can highlight whatever they want to.
Balance sheet. I mean, nothing really. It's pretty typical for this time of year. Spending a lot of money on the pool. But we did, last month's really our big income for the pool. That first week. So you may see a little bit of negatives in there, and just the negatives are because the bulk of our cash flow comes in. But overall, we're still looking good. If you jump into the profit and loss, really all of that looks good.
Year to date compared to last year, Aquatic Center.
I'll be able to show you that actually in the next meeting. We can really kind of compare.
But are we on pace? Do you think we're on pace?
Yeah, not spending wise.
No, but I mean.
But we only have that budgeted amount to spend, so it's, whether you spend it early or you spend it late, that's all you got. So work. Everything else is pretty good. Software's going great. Staff's taking care of stuff. We got some money coming in for the half marathon finally. We already have 110 people, which is awesome. This time last year we had. So the money we spent on the Carmel Club coming in is helping because their nest egg that they can market to is 10 times bigger. Plus, having the beer garden.
Good. Questions or comments? Financial reports? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to the DAC report.
Still working on that software integration. When Tara quit, it hurt us. It pretty much put everything back months. just because we got her trained, we were good to go, and then she quit, and then it's like summer park program, so everything stopped. Erica jumped in and really was awesome. It's the last week of the summer park program, so she's a little sad about it, but.
I had, just so you guys know, I had some compliments on that. You guys did great, so.
We did the Camp Wars thing. We ended up losing, so we haven't posted anything about it.
I asked Macy, she said, I don't know who won.
Yeah.
They won by 2 points. I think next year, if we choose to do it again, we need to almost set it up like a field trip, but an at-home field trip, so we actually know how many kids we're going to have.
Yeah,
So we
'cause
can
we
make
didn't
sure
have
the
very
teams
many
were even.
kids.
Well, and it
It made it
was,
a lot harder
Yeah.
to dominate them like
it
we
was
did
the
their turf.
day before the 4th, wasn't it?
Yes.
So a lot of people, I think, were out of town and.
We actually had, like, our core kids were almost always there. My counselors were really great about hyping the kids up for Camp Force. So our core kids came, but it was kind of our fringe kids that sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. They weren't there. So our core kids were really frustrated because they'd been working real hard and their friends didn't show up. But I think it's definitely something.
Yeah,
Kids
it was
loved
pretty
it.
cool.
The counselors loved it.
Well, plus we did an exchange, so pretty much they got into the pool, and for that, then they had to program our. Went over to Washington Township. They did.
We did fishing derby, slip and slide kickball, which
Yeah.
we next summer because oh my gosh, that was so much fun. And they had Nerf wars. They have a bunch
So
of
they
Nerf
had to
guns.
program and supply all of that stuff for us. We didn't have to pay for it. Normally we're spending. We're gonna go to the zoo, and it was
Which would
gonna
have been
be
$10 a kid. Usually it's
probably by the time we're done, 15. A couple because we bought some like bandanas for the kids. Swag.
Avon has T-shirts because they're a full day paid camp, and we
Yeah.
indicate our kids. So we did just like football black stripes and.
It was pretty cool.
I know this is the first Erica's spoken, but I know her opinion on about everything we talked about. I know which pavilion she likes. Yeah.
She might fall asleep. Okay, let's go to programs. We've talked
So
about some of
programs, we're hitting that pretty hot and heavy right now. Recent programs. We had our first clinic, pickleball clinic. I think he said he had 8 or 9, which was pretty good. So we're just doing like a one-day clinic where they can come out and learn about pickleball. And they're doing that for $5.
They're free or less than.
Yeah,
It's really
I want to say it's
inexpensive.
free. But, so that is Tim Whiteman, and he's doing a couple of those out. So if you want to learn about pickleball and get some intro into pickleball, just look on our website. Swim lessons, we've been working on trying to advance those. That's been hit and miss. Still kind of teaching Stan some of the ins and outs of the swim lessons. They are better than what they were, but they're not. So, but we've learned a lot of things this year, and they are better than they were last. And next year, I see them really being able to blossom because of the learning experience.
Are they over for this year, or are they still going on,
The
or-
second round will be started this week, and they will be over next. Evenings in Ellis, going great.
Friday night's the night you want to be there.
Yeah, adults only party on Friday at the pool.
When do the doors open?
Doors open at actually 6, and the concert starts at 7.
That's what I was thinking, it was 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and we'll be closing down the splash pad probably. Everything's going pretty good with that. Getting a lot of positive
A
feedback.
lot of positive feedback on that,
Yeah, and
tons.
it's fairly easy. Once we get the new amphitheater shell, it'll be even easier and less expensive. But it's going pretty well. The last concert we had, pretty awesome. And we had a core crowd, and it even started raining, and people didn't leave,
No.
which tells you either had a good band or they're just.
We literally had to kick them out because we
Yeah.
had lightning, but
Yeah.
before that,
Yeah,
they
I
sat in the
closed it
rain.
for the last 2 songs, which was unfortunate, but we got a majority of the concert in. But we're definitely looking about maybe having them, or we talked about the Eagles.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a like a programming meeting. whatever, and have kind of the year after the Grease, the last movie.
Okay.
One thing, and I think I shared this with you. Joni Schmidt is a person that used to work for the Indianapolis Symphony, and she now works for the International Association of Pianists or something like that. And she contacted me a couple of months ago and said that they were writing a grant to put on a public concert and wanted to know if they could put Danville, I did talk to you about it, if they could put Danville in as their location. And so that may be part of our, and this would be next summer. And so we're kind of excited that number one, she thought of us. She's left the symphony for the same reason a lot of other people have left the symphony, and we've left the symphony. But yeah, it could be a good substitute for the symphony. I don't know that we would make it as part of the series, but it may be a standalone event. And hopefully we'll have the amphitheater up by then, and
Yeah.
so it could be really cool.
Really cool.
Definitely positive things on that. The movie was good. We had more people than we've ever had at the movie before. I think the free option's kind of nice too, because it gives maybe people a chance who don't normally attend. And we did make a little bit on the concessions. I mean, more than I thought we would. So that was good too. Summer park program, I talked a little bit about that. It's been good. Towards the end here, Erica's been great, like I was telling you. We're also still looking at that option of a full day eventually. Send out a survey soon. Tapping into it. Still think it's something that we need to do. It's just a matter of I don't have time to focus on it right now. And if we do it, there's no going back. Like we have to put everything into it because just like most of the things we do, it's your image is everything. We
Right.
do that, so we have to have a solid program. Upcoming swim lessons, we're kind of into that. The evenings in Ellis this weekend. Race Across Danville is next weekend, which is the spinoff of a Race Across Harris County, just locally. And then junior tennis camp is also the week after that. And then we'll have Grease. So we'll be done with evenings in Ellis.
What do you guys think?
Comments?
Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Where would you put it?
Can we put it back behind your house? Is there room? Actually, on my son's property, there's probably room.
How would you raise money for it? You guys raise money all the time.
I'd have to mow a lot of grass.
The park doesn't know anything about mowing grass,
we
so
don't
let's
think-
go something else.
Every little bit helps.
Let's start mowing other people's grass for money.
Yeah.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.